Was very close actually as Sonny Smith tried to align himself around the inside of the leader, and watch out for David who goes through. So there's a switch between the teammates. Maybe he was faster, he has a chance himself, but the time is running out for trying to go for the leader.
So Yevan David making a good tactical decision there to get into second position on the inside of Sonny Smith. Final lap begins and it's Keanu Bloom in front of Yevan David, Sonny Smith, August Turbo and Maxon Verbruge. So a brilliant little tussle with these guys as they continue. Yevan David, the young man from Sri Lanka, up into second position. Certainly the highest anyone from his nation has ever run in international karting competition. Great to see him do such a good job flying the flag for his fledgling nation as Keanu Bloom holds on to the lead. But can Yevan David become the first ever Sri Lankan to take an international karting victory at this level? He's certainly close to it, and the youngster is pushing very hard indeed. There might be another chance from Sonny Smith to close up on his teammate and go for the position, but Yevan David is close to Keanu Bloom. Bloom is defending. Yevan David needs to try and catch him unawares. He's going to try and slingshot him into the final corner. The slightest of love taps into the final bend. Oh, and Yevan David tries to make the move on the inside of Keanu Bloom. He gets alongside him. Sonny Smith's going to come through alongside, and it is going to be Yevan David who gets it. Yevan David in front of Sonny Smith and Keanu Bloom. Yevan David makes history for Sri Lanka, the first ever winner from his nation.
So we are here today to interview Sri Lanka's youngest speed merchant who has trailblazing ideas on racing and karting as of now. So hello Yevan, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm all right. How's everyone?
We're doing good. So previously we did conduct an interview with you and inquire you about your karting career and everything. So we are here today to do an interview to look into further details. So let's speak about how the karting circuit is faring in this pandemic situation.
So at the start, about last year during March, we were still racing, but then there was this one race where we went to the track, and then we got told that the race was cancelled and everything was shut down. So all of us had to fly home back to our home countries, and then it was locked down after that. But right now, this year, 2021, it's getting better. The races are still going ahead. The situation is definitely better than last year. Of course, we're still wearing masks and sanitizing just for safety, but the situation is not as bad.
All right. So how are you faring? How are you managing your karting and how your practices and training?
Yeah, I'm managing all right. At the start of the year, it was a bit hard at first because it was my first time and I was still figuring everything out. But now I've gotten used to it and I know how everything works. So I'm still doing school online. I'm still training, and it's still under management.
All right, great. So in the earlier interview, you actually mentioned that there have been some sim tournaments. So were there any more during this time period, and how have you been faring with them?
Yes, so basically last year, since lockdown, we couldn't really do any racing outdoors. So I started sim racing at home, and for the whole of last year, pretty much, I did sim racing. And this year, at the start of the year, before I came out here to Europe, I was still doing a bit of sim racing. But now I think I'm a bit too busy for sim races just because almost every weekend we're either driving in real life or racing. So the sim tournaments are actually still going on just because some places are still quite bad in the world and they still need some sort of racing to do. But right now, sim racing is actually quite good right now if you're in lockdown.
All right, that's great to hear. So now you've mentioned that your training is almost back to normal and you're having physical training now. And earlier you also mentioned that you are doing online schooling at the moment. So how do you manage your schooling and training both?
So training I usually do in the mornings, like right after I wake up, just because to get it out of the way and then use the rest of the day productively. And then with school, sometimes it's a lot of work. So I do in between sessions while driving at the track or on plane rides or like right before dinner, just doing as much as I can. And I've had this kind of thing back in 2017 when I had to fly overseas to race for the first time. I was doing real life school back then and I had homework. So I was trying to find time to do it. And I think I've developed a skill from that of time management. So this year it's not as hard because I've developed that skill.
All right, great. So now with schooling and all, do you have any other education aspirations, any ambitions according to your academics?
Not at the moment, no, but I'm actually quite interested in the engineering side and the mechanics side. It's interesting to know more of the science behind racing and automobiles. And I think if I do study this, it could come in handy one day.
All right, great. So moving on, what are your plans to move on to the next level of racing?
So after this year is complete, we're probably going to do one more year in the 15 and over category next year. And that will prepare me for the year after that, which will be in cars with Formula 4. And that's basically the biggest step probably of the racing career, going from karting to cars. It's always hard, but that's the plan, to go to Formula 4 at the end of 2022 or the start of 2023.
All right, great. So you've always spoken about your inspiration, Lewis Hamilton, and how you're always inspired by him. Tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, I've always idolized him from like a young age. I just loved his mentality, his ambitions to always move forward. And it's not like he's a very dirty driver or a sore loser. He goes and congratulates the winners. He's not very much of a sore loser, and that's a great personality to have. You don't want to be angry or aggressive. So that's one of the many reasons why I idolize him.
To your training overseas and everything, do you have any plans on coming back to Sri Lanka and performing here?
Well, at the moment, not really, because there's not really much racing in Sri Lanka. But at the end of the year, I might go to Sri Lanka just to see my family. I haven't seen them in a year. It'll be nice to catch up with them, see all my cousins. So for now, no racing plans in Sri Lanka, but yeah, definitely go there and just visit my home country.
All right, great. So finally, I would like to ask you, to any other youngsters who are interested in starting a career in karting or racing, what would your advice be?
My advice would be never give up, work hard, it'll pay off. Because one day, if you, like for me, I kept practicing every single weekend in 2015, 2014. And yeah, here I am in Europe competing in the top karting. So it will definitely pay off.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Yevan, for joining us today. It was a very interesting interview with you. And we hope to keep in touch with you in the future.
All right. Thank you very much.